Hey everyone, your designers are here. I'm Anita at Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at My Soulful Home.
We've got tips and tricks and decorating advice for you today, so let's get started.
So this is episode 134, and we're going to be talking about transitioning from one style to another.
That's going to take an hour.
That could take a few episodes
topic.
maybe.
Yes.
But, it's something we can start. We can lay the groundwork for it.
And it's something we've done several times.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because everyone's evolving. You're not just evolving in your person, you're evolving in your decor along with it. So, or you move to a new house or apartment or condo or a new state, and you just feel like you got to shake it up a little bit. It's exciting and it can be overwhelming, but we're with you. So, one of you ladies want to kick it off? What style have you had? We can start with that.
We have talked a lot about this whole
We've
Tuscan
all had
thing.
the Tuscan style,
So
whether we all admit it or not.
Yes, we did. So, I think the thing I want to talk about with this transition is I think about the ugly duckling. I think about, that poor boy who hasn't grown into his big feet yet. I think about how when you're transitioning from one very different style to another different style, if you do it slowly and you're on a budget, there's going to be some awkward stages in between.
Oh, but good point.
But hold on, because it's worth it.
Okay. You just made me think about, I can't remember his name. There was a guy in my high school and he was, I knew him, but didn't think twice about him. Well, something happened between his sophomore and junior year. It was
happened.
Wow.
Yes. What happened?
He probably lifted weights, grew 6 inches, got rid of his braces, his hair, he grew out. Whoa. So there is a good ending if you're willing to go through the transition.
There you go.
I haven't thought of that in decades.
There's some junior high pictures I want to burn. So, yeah. So I think we all go through that phase, but, and that's what happens in your house. So I think, when I was transitioning, it was so painful. I had the gold walls and I had and then I decided to make slip covers for my I had a red bed, a red chair in my bedroom, and then a red sofa and 2 red settees and a red ottoman. And I decided to slip cover all of them. And so it was painfully slow because I personally made every one of those slip covers. So there's one thing done, but nothing else in the room is done. So it was a slow, painful.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me because I wanted to all look just perfect right now. And it didn't. I just had to say, you know what? You're just going to have to wait. Just hold on.
You kept your eye on the prize, right? So you
I
knew
did.
where you were going. You had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I had a plan.
And then I'm going to venture to say there was no Pinterest, right? So maybe you had tear sheets or something from a magazine. Did you have some inspiration that you could look to? I know I did that here in this house. I was transitioning from, old man style.
Autumnal?
No, in this house, it was
AKA Tuscan.
No, the old man style that was here before, hoarder old man, not my own style, that can happen too. You move into a place and you don't have the money to fix it up right away, or you plan to do it over time. Maybe you have to do electrical and plumbing and all that, and you can't get to the pretties yet. So that you're transitioning from what was somebody else's style. To the style you want. That's challenging as well.
Yeah, that's where we are in the mountains. The kitchen has the golden oak cabinets. The whole house was golden oak. You couldn't put any more golden oak in that house than they did. The whole thing is. So it's a very slow transition. We just can't do everything at one pop. And so the kitchen, to me, it looks dated right now, but we're kind of going slowly. We painted the outside of the house and I'm trying to focus on that right now and just ignore the kitchen. So
focus on the steps along the way. And I would definitely suggest magazines, tear sheets, a Pinterest board. I would literally kind of like almost put blinders, like hold my hands to the side of my head and just look at my computer screen and scroll through my home ideas Pinterest board when I couldn't take it anymore because I didn't want to look about what was going on or not going on in the house. And I would say, this is where I'm going. I'm going to get there.
I think you've got a good point. I mean, the whole thing is you put your plan together of what you're going to do. I mean, I think you do these boards on Pinterest and kind of your style boards of this is what I want the room to look like. And then you're going to put a plan together that fits your budget. And so depending on how much money you have and how much time you have to make things or whatever, then it's going to be a slower fast. Usually if you're making a huge change, it's going to be a slow transition, but you're right. I mean, you put your plan together and you say, this year I'm going to do this, or this month I'm going to do this. And then you have, I think maybe you kind of carefully decide how you're going to spend your money. And maybe you go biggest bang for your buck in the beginning. So maybe you go for changing out that sofa first, if that's part of your plan, or painting the walls before you go to the little, knickknacks in the room.
And I have exactly everything you just said. But here's the thing. There is no way around this not being a little bit painful, a little bit frustrating, because it takes time. And unless you have an unlimited bank account, it is going to take a while. But here's what I'm also going to say. When you're deciding what your style that you're transitioning into, I'm going to say, don't jump in head first. Don't make a total commitment to one style. And here's why, because you're going to have to do the whole thing over again. And my best advice is find foundational pieces and colors that are very timeless.
Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm a little asleep at the wheel here.
Because you can slip into different colors and different styles. And then you are going to make your less expensive items in the style you want. And here's a good example, my family room. My family room has very sort of timeless, they're slip-covered pieces, but the accent pieces and I painted a small desk and I used a sisal rug. They're all things that lend to a farmhouse style. I've not totally committed to if everything being farmhouse, because that would be such an overcommitment and it would cost so much money to change that. And believe me, I'm going to get tired. And believe it or not, I just heard, you have to listen to our next episode, because we're going to talk about forecasting colors of 2018. But also I just heard that farmhouse may be going, it may not be hot.
Transitioning from one style to another, do you have a suggestion on where you think people should start? Like, should you start with the wall color? Should you start with the furniture? I mean, I guess part of it depends on how big a transition this is going to be.
Here's a really easy way to start. Because I know changing your wall color, changing your big pieces of furniture, that can be very daunting. So start with, and this is like my mantra, don't have tchotchkes laying around. I'd take out everything that isn't your style, even like a lamp, because you can buy a lamp. A lamp is very inexpensive. You don't have to buy lamps that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. You can buy a lamp at, Wayfair or Birch Lane or Home Goods or Target, and no one will ever know. I just bought a lampshade at Kmart that is so awesome. And it's a lovely lampshade. No one will know. Get rid of the tchotchkes. That'll give your room some room to breathe.
Yes.
Yvonne, I so agree with that, because you can't necessarily, maybe your sofa's not going to go with your new style, but you have to have it because you've got to sit there. But all the little decorative things around your room are extra. You don't have to have them in the room to survive, basically. So I totally agree. Take everything out of the room that's not part of your new style, that you don't absolutely have to have in the room. This is probably going to mean there's a lot of bare spaces. There may even be some furniture in your room that is no longer in your room, or
pictures
some lamps
on the
or
wall.
Pictures. But here's the thing I found out from doing this myself. You probably have too much stuff in your room anyway.
Ding, ding, ding. That's another
stuff,
one. That's right. Yes.
Less stuff in your room is
she was
not
really
a bad...
fast when she got it. She danged it right away. Like, I was like, Anita, Yvonne just did something really great. Dig them out. Pause. Pregnant pause.
She wants to catch up with me.
Stop it. Oh, no. I bow to the queen. No.
No, you both all make great points. And I loved about the room to breathe. So true. Like, how are you going to go? You can't, it's like going from one relationship to the next, right? You gotta have some space in between.
And you've got to take that box of everything that reminded you of him. Exactly. And you have to take everything down and put it away. So it's just like that. Even if it looks bare, because it's going to make you think about things.
Here's the thing I realized when my neighbor was kind of transitioning, moving to their house, to a new house. She hadn't moved everything in yet. And she had I guess she had kept a lot of stuff in her old house because she was still selling it. So she had just moved some kind of artsy pieces into her new house. And here was the thing when I went in her new house to see it, and it was underdone. It was underdressed. There wasn't a lot in there. It ended up feeling, I am not kidding you, like an art gallery. And it ended up looking like, because she had such unique pieces of furniture and artwork, I felt like I was in an art gallery. And so everything was just really, your focus was on the beautiful things that she had in there, and it wasn't distracted by a lot of clutter.
Well, and that's a good way to start, because it's not a big, like, you're not buying a sofa, you're not buying anything. You're just purging. And it's like a clean slate. And let me just say this. And a lot of people like to slip cover their things. I know, Anita, you are the queen of slip covering. They're so beautiful. And I have slip cover furniture. You have to look at the shape of it. You can't have like a big puffy rolled armed sofa if you like something like mid-century modern, or if you like even farmhouse or French. You have to look at the shape. If the shape, you can get away with the shape. If it's classic and neutral enough, you can slip cover it. Other than that, it is going to be an investment. You may have to buy something that has the lines, because you really want to look at the lines of your furniture and the lines of your style. But for me, I would not buy what I would call like a farmhouse looking sofa. Both of the sofas I have in my house, I have 3 of them. All 3 of the sofas are very classic lines. So they'll go with almost any style, and they're timeless. I can have them for the next 20 years and be okay with it, because I don't necessarily need a farmhouse looking sofa. I need a classic sofa that I can put cute farmhouse pillows on and a neat throw.
Well, Yvonne, you gave another tip here, and I think it's more of a preventive. You kind of have to have done this ahead of time, but you talked about having classic sofas. So if you buy classic pieces, a classic color on the wall, classic furniture pieces, classic lamps, then they should probably transition from one style to another.
That's right,
better
Anita.
Than if you went too trendy. So I would definitely stay away from the trends on these big ticket items, because you do I want to be able to have one sofa that carries me through a couple of different styles if I change.
You are exactly right on, because I think if your underlaying furniture should be very classic, because it can transition to almost anything. I'm just trying to think of a style that you might need. If you're doing mid-century, you probably need more of a mid-century look. But other than that, and even you could do modern with classic, I would use your foundational pieces, your big ticket items, keep them very classic, very sort of in the background. You don't want them screaming.
Solid colors. I would avoid the patterns on your
totally
chairs
avoid patterns.
And sofa. If you want pattern, do it with your pillows.
Well,
and your throws and your rug.
I also think that I have a little accent chair in my living room that's really fun, but it was under $200.
Oh, and it's got a pattern on it?
Yes, but it can go up to my bedroom.
Yeah, well, there you go.
So that to me is a fun little accent. So when I'm tired of it, up to the bedroom it goes.
There you go. It's flexible in that way. And I have some pieces like that. I have a cute chair that I bought that's got a floral pattern on the chair. And it's just, I'll probably recover it at some point. But
sure.
It can be easily moved around. But your big chairs, it's harder to do that with.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months.
And here's the other thing. Know that your transitional style you'll be able to live with, I say, for at least 7 years. That's the length of, that's the time you should have a sofa. They say the life of a sofa is 7 years. I tend to stretch that a little bit. Sometimes I stretch that a lot.
So you say it's okay to get the 7-year itch, so to speak, with your decor.
I think 7 years is a good time to, just change things up a little. Mm-hmm. I used to be real farmhousey, still with classic things. I'm lending more towards the classic styles with just a little nod.
Okay, well, I'm really glad you brought that up and you said that word, compound word maybe, farmhouse, because we have a listener, Lisa. Hey, Lisa. She has a farmhouse style right now and she's really enjoyed it and has enjoyed it. And she doesn't want to let it completely go, but she's definitely finding herself tending towards a more refined country. And I quote her as saying, dare I say, French country.
Hello. Good choice.
Anita just found her new BFF.
I know.
Lisa, I suggest Anita's book to you, my dear, because if you want to know how to do French country, rustic,
farmhouse,
and refined,
you bet.
That's your source for sure. But other than that, we can talk about that particular style because I think a lot of people have that, and they went hog wild with the whole farmhouse movement. And
somebody hinted it might be waning soon.
Yes. Well, here's the deal. We're going to say it over and over and over and over again. Keep everything classic, neutral, and then with your accents do that. Then you're not in whatever style you want to be. So when you're tired of that, transitioning to yet another style is much, much, much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I probably on that, maybe the farmhouse signs might be something that I would move out.
Absolutely.
Bonfire. I have to say, I'm not.
No, Craigslist.
I like the way you think. Yeah, I have to say, I've never been a sign person, and I see those signs, and that's so cute. But, unless I actually have chickens, I have no business having a fresh eggs sign in my house. I think, so but that's just me personally. I do have one sign from a shop called Brandy Melville, which is kind of this like funky store that my girls like to shop in. And it's a clothing store, but they have some accessories. And I have to say the store is styled really well. And I have a very thin wooden sign that says City of Angels.
Oh,
but I live in Los Angeles, right? So, but I was even hesitant to get that, but the girls loved it. And I said, okay, we could get that. And it actually does work. But all the farmhousey stuff, like, here's the other thing too. I don't really want to walk into my house and know that thousands of other people have that sign or thousands of other people have that whatever. Sure, there's going to be this something that's a basic thing, like a burlap lampshade. Yeah, sure. But signs or very specific things are telltale of certain styles.
Now, I have some signs, some well-placed signs.
You have some signs,
I
know,
love.
And you do a great job with your signs.
Well, I'm just saying, look at them.
It's just for me.
If you want to keep them, keep them. But some of them you may feel are too. If you're trying to transition away from the farmhouse style, you might want to move some of those out. Is all I'm suggesting. If they work for you, keep them. And another thing I would probably, but she asked about transitioning, so I'm answering it. I think another thing I would probably move out of the house are the galvanized things, because that's very farmhousey. And, my style.
Well, are you talking about the real galvanized stuff or the faux galvanized?
The faux.
Yeah. Okay.
The faux. Yeah. I mean, the real olive buckets, I think, are classic. And here's the thing. I mean, I call my style farmhouse French. So it's really kind of a mix of these rustic farmhousey things with country French style. And it's more of a neutral palette. So I think a lot of your farmhouse things, Lisa, I think are going to work with French things if you want to transition to country French. But but I would kind of look at your farmhouse items and see, does it look like the real thing, or does it look really faux? Does it, because the more real things, I think I would probably keep. But something that's a little too kitschy, I probably would move out to another room or onto a friend.
Good advice, Anita. Mm-hmm. And Anita, especially what you're saying, you are such a collector of beautiful, realistic, vintage items that work with your style.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so that's something that you'd want to keep in mind as well.
Well, I buy usually the real thing. I usually, rather than a faux thing, I usually buy, rather than a fake dough bowl, I usually buy a real antique dough bowl. And then when you're investing in the real thing, it's just a classic look. And I think it ends up working in a lot of different styles, and it has that real look. So I think that's maybe the difference too.
Yeah, it's authentic. I mean, when the farmhouse, I love farmhouse. I mean, I call, because you guys made me pick a style, I call my house farmhouse glam because, it's a farmhouse and I got some bling going on. But I think all of our style, I have a lot of classic elements too. I have some French elements. It's sort of all a mashup, and it's things that over time I've curated, if you will, and they work together. But there are of different styles, and there is that mashup. And I think that's really a beautiful way to decorate. And like Yvonne's saying, if you have these foundational pieces, and then you can add, and they're neutral and they're classic, and then you can add in and layer in these different elements that can tend to feel, dare she say, some French country, or maybe a little modern. You can swing different ways because you've got such a great foundation going on.
And I think you're right about that, Kelly. I'm just going to say, don't commit to one style.
Yeah.
Because then you're it's just overboard. Yeah. I think that you should say, like my house, I call it refined country farmhouse. So there's a lot of styles going on that I can add in, and it's very eclectic, and you can definitely see nods to different elements, but I think that's where the beauty lies.
Agreed. Oh, you are so true, Yvonne. I think that's really an excellent point, to really take a style or combine styles, but make it your own.
That's so
rather than kind of going into Target and buying everything of a certain collection, kind of buy just your favorite things of each, because sometimes I think we just kind of get a little nervous and we start saying, oh, well, I saw this and this is part of this style, but maybe you don't really like it that much.
Right. Like if you love what Chip and Joanna do, on Fixer Upper, find a couple pieces that would be like a foundation or that would work, but then do your own style, because you've got to love what you like, what you do too. And it develops your eye.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, if you're doing their whole, if you're
collection,
doing everything, their whole collection, if you're buying every single thing, I think a year from now, you're going to feel like it looks
You're going to feel like
dated.
the clearance aisle at Target.
Yeah, and it's not going to be you, but you might love, like I bought one of their pillows. I love it. And it's going to work in all my bedrooms and my family room and my living room. And it has a real nubby feel, but that's all I bought.
Right. But it doesn't scream farmhouse at you, or it doesn't scream Fixer Upper at you. It works in what you've got.
Right. And here's the thing. I mean, these trendy things, it's all great when the trend is going on. If you filled your house with all this stuff that's super hot, but what comes up must come down. So if you've done your whole house in it, I think at some point when the style is not so hot anymore, you're going to feel like, ugh, why did I buy all this
pads.
Stuff? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, everything had shoulder pads back in the day.
They were great when they were there.
But they were cool when they were in style.
Are they ever coming back?
Well, hey.
I don't know. Unless everybody starts to play for the NFL. I don't think so.
And all those Princess Diana pictures, man, she's got the shoulder pads.
I know. And I see pictures of myself and I'm like, I'm this little person. I look like a tiny little dwarf linebacker. Because my suits from work, they're like,
oh, and they were so hot.
Oh, golly. Who thought that was a good idea? And with all my hair, there was like,
it went
up to my ears, and I probably had big earrings too.
I had the Tootsie suit, with the bow tie, the tie.
Oh my gosh. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Go Google Tootsie the movie. It's Dustin Hoffman dressed like a woman.
She does, Anita. She's pretending she's younger than we are. She knows exactly what you're talking about.
Oh my goodness. I think after you get rid of all the tchotchkes and you sort of evaluate your furniture, you could paint some of your furniture. It would look good. But other than that, paint your walls. Like that pastel blue. It is pretty, but boy, does that date everything. Do you know what I mean? Like the butter yellow, and I love butter yellow, but, and my house was full of butter yellow, but not anymore. And I think that's one of the dead giveaways. So, paint your walls, and I'm just going to say, paint them something very neutral. And you can go on. I guess we should put this in the show notes. Like I've got one on all my wall color.
Okay.
And
let me make a note.
Well, we could link to the wall color our paint episode.
Yes, exactly. Because that's a really good idea, because I think that's like an instant update.
Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT. Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. No, it truly
is true.
And it makes such a difference. And you think, oh, that's overwhelming. But I mean, you could even cheat it if your trim is white. Don't do your trim. We won't tell anybody. You know, just do your walls.
Yes.
And it's really not that hard. You get some painter's tape, you know, and you just say like one weekend I'm doing this and do it.
But you're very right. I mean, when that wall color is dated looking, it doesn't matter what you're doing in the room. The whole room has a pall over it.
Yes, everything.
Yeah, it's like if your shirt has shoulder pads.
Yes,
you can't hide
it's
them.
like a suit with shoulder pads.
But the good news is for shoulder pads, they're pretty easily removed in most cases.
Yeah,
yes,
that's true.
And here's the other thing. This is my pet peeve, so I'm so sorry if your walls, don't paint your walls green.
Yes, that was one of my wall colors in one of the bedrooms. It was a green. It was the 90s, and then it wasn't the 90s, and the green didn't work anymore.
It just makes any skin tone look awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, accessorize with green. I love green, but greenery is the color for 2017. So, but yeah, walls not so much.
Yeah, so that would be a bigger step. But I love the idea of what Yvonne started out with: clear your plate, right? Just have the essentials. Get rid of all the telltale signs of a certain style and the little things that you don't need. And then, then your room is sort of ready to paint. You could cover your sofa with some drop cloths and get going and get it done if that needs
and maybe
to happen.
If you cover your sofa with drop cloths, you can see how it would look in a neutral.
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
Yes.
Well, listen, girls, we're out of time today, but I think we've sort of covered how to transition from one style to another.
Yeah. And Lisa, I hope that we gave you, some good advice on that particular style. If anybody else has a style that they're working out of or a style that you're trying to work towards and you're not sure how to get there, send us an email, call us on the phone, leave a voicemail. We're always reading those. We'd love to be able to answer your questions. I think in the new year, we're going to do another one of our listener questions episodes. So if we don't address them directly in a reply email right now, because it's the crazy time of year, we will for sure get to you either on air or privately through email and let you know our thoughts. But, it's a big thing. And Anita kicked it off well, saying, there are going to be times when it feels like I can't bear this. I want to get my fresh eggs signed back. I just I don't want to do it. Right? It looked so nice, and I worked so hard to make it look pretty. But when you're starting to feel that 7-year itch or whatever itch. Yep. It's time, and that's what decor is all about. And that's what we're all about, transitioning and evolving and making it right for you.
So Lisa, we hope we have helped you, and we hope we've also helped any other listeners. And remember, we are here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey everybody, we want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com, or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.